Hi, my name is Kahnawake Adir and welcome back to part 2 of our virtual tour of the walking path in Kahnawake. Well, the purple martin or the Kahnawake, it's about 17 to 20 centimeters tall and it weighs a couple of ounces. It's not a very big bird, but it's it's a dark color, and the males are completely covered in a dark color with kind of a blue glossy sheen to them, and the females are pretty much the same color except their underside is a much lighter color. For a really long time we've had a reciprocal relationship with them. We would hang gourds outside our house to dry and they would use those as their nesting sites, and they would chase away birds such as hawks and stuff like that, other predatory birds. And they would also warn of danger coming. If anything was coming, they would start yelling. Also, when they hunt at high altitudes, it's really a sight to behold. They hunt above 150 meters and they really dive and dash to catch their prey, which is larger insects. And you can often catch glimpses of like flashes of purple when they're hunting. They spend their winters in South America and then they migrate to this area in the summer. Like other insectivore species in Quebec, their population is declining a lot, and I think in Quebec it's reduced by 90%. Their threats include changes to their habitat and their food sources, as well as being sensitive to agricultural chemicals such as various pesticides. So they pretty much only breed in artificial birdhouse colonies at this point. So when people are erecting birdhouses for them, they need to make sure they're far away from anything that predators can climb up onto and reach them to get. There's the brown snake, which is Atessa nigayatoda onyare. There's the red-bellied snake and also the garter snake, which is onyare. It's usually light brown or gray in color, and it has 2 parallel rows of dark colored spots down its back. It has a dark stripe on both sides of the neck and next to their eye. It's not very big, with adults reaching about 12 inches or so. And they really like to sun themselves on rocks or even the bike path themselves.
What are some rare plants found in Kahnawake?
Well, one is wild ginger or Jonesquartia. It has broad heart-shaped leaves, and we make a tea from the roots that is used to treat arthritis, sore throats, fevers, and colds. We also have the green dragon. It's tall with long leaves. We also have American ginseng or degarantoga, which has similar leaves to the green dragon, but will also have a round cluster of white flowers at the top, turning eventually into red berries. We dry the roots to make a tea that boosts the immune system. We also have wild leeks or garhagunha otnyuksiri. They grow in clusters and the whole plant is edible, either raw in salads or cooked. Sustainable harvest practices are crucial with regard to this plant. They are not nearly as common in the rest of Canada and Quebec anymore, but our abundant wetlands and geographical location have allowed them to flourish. So we use the term gahandaksa to refer to invasive plant, and it's any plant that has begun to invade, overtake, or otherwise harm the natural plants of the region. They are generally lacking in natural predators and can spread much quickly than everything else, and like I said, they just choke out all the native plants in the area, taking all of the resources, sunlight, land, nutrients. Both the common and glossy buckthorn are found. They have fruits that attract wildlife, which really helps with their spread. They are very tolerant to drought and shade and are very dense. They prevent other trees from regenerating. It's a good looking plant with nice dark leaves and develops a pretty purple fruit, but it really chokes out everything else around it. The Japanese knotweed, it grows extremely quickly and can regenerate from a tiny small piece of root or stem. It has red shoots while it's growing, and the leaves are kind of shovel shaped coming off of the branch. The common reed or phragmites are really doing a number on the cattails in the area. They look exactly like cattails with the long thin leaves like a reed, except they don't have the hot dog shaped piece that cattails have. Okay, the wild parsnip has huge amounts of seeds that spread rapidly, and the sap can cause skin irritation. It is tall and skinny with toothed leaves, and the flowers grow in umbrella clusters, kind of like Queen Anne's lace. There's also garlic mustard. Its growing season starts very early, allowing it to become quite established before other native plants even have a chance. The seeds can stay dormant in the ground for up to 30 years. It has toothed, heart-shaped leaves, small white flowers in clusters of 3, and if you crush it, the leaves smell very much of garlic. First of all, to be very careful about what you plant. Make sure that it is native to the area, or if it's not native, that it can't freely propagate. You can also remove the invasive species when you find them, but proper disposal is extremely important because otherwise you might just be spreading them even more. Also, replanting the area where you've cleared any invasive species with native species can really help the problem. Well, the American eel or jowerungo is a long, thin fish with a fin that goes along all the way along its back and along its underside. It comes from way down in the Sargasso Sea off of the east coast of Florida. They have an incredible 7-stage life cycle that starts off of Florida. Like I said, they are there as eggs and larvae, and they kind of float around on the top of ocean currents, and eventually they will transform into glass eels, and they're named that because they're pretty much completely transparent. At that point in their life cycle, they start making their way up the coast and eventually into the St. Lawrence Seaway and into our recreation bay. They'll live in this area for about 15 to 20 years, and then eventually they will return back to the Florida area where they'll lay their eggs and die. And then the whole cycle will start again. Well, the Kahnawake Enviroprotection Agency is doing surveys about their population because it has been declining recently, so we want to create awareness of them. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed or learned something new in this week's virtual tour.